everyone, my name is Alina. I am a software developer from Denmark, and in this video I would like to share with you my story how I found my first coding job with zero experience as a self-taught developer. So I will quickly cover my background, how and why I started coding, how I found my first job, what was the salary, what were the challenges, and what I wish I'd done differently. I moved from Ukraine to Denmark at the end of 2015 with the purpose of starting my master's degree in mathematics, because that's what I was studying back in Ukraine. While I was preparing all my documents to get accepted to the university, I was kind of a bit bored and I was looking for something to do. That's how I found a course on Coursera, which is a learning platform similar to Udemy, and the course was about web development. And I basically fell in love with it. Firstly, because it was very different from what I was doing before, because mathematics was very theoretical and web development was very practical. So it gave me the feeling that I can create something with my own hands and other people can appreciate it. That's why I decided that I am done with mathematics and I want to move to something related to coding, like web development or software development or anything like that. Then after 3 or 4 months of taking these online courses and creating my portfolio, I decided that it's time to create a CV and start applying for a real job. And I remember that I was sending my CVs to all the big and mid-sized companies around the area where I was living, and unfortunately I was either rejected or most of the companies never even got back to me. I remember it was time when I was very frustrated, so I was like, okay, you don't want me? I don't want to work with you. And at the same time I was like, oh my god, why they don't get back to me? Why they don't hire me? Am I not good enough? What I am doing wrong? And it was very hard on me, like mentally or emotionally. And when I am thinking about it right now, then I would probably not hire myself back then, because I knew that I don't have a college degree in the software development or web development. I was self-taught and it really dragged my confidence down. Back then I was kind of concerned that if someone hires me, they will do me a favor, and I should have thought that if someone hires me, then it will be kind of win-win deal. So guys, the most important lesson that I have learned as a self-taught developer is that self-confidence plays a huge role and dramatically increases your chances to get your first job. But how can you get a job if no one even gives you a chance to get to the first interview? That's a very good question, and that's the question that I was asking myself. That's where I realized that I had to change my strategy and I have to have at least one legit job on my CV. The first thing I did was I created my own company, one-man company. It's very easy to do in Denmark, and I thought that even if I don't find some legit customers to create a website for them or web shop, anything, then I can still keep building my portfolio and state on my CV that I was a freelancer. That's still better than nothing. Meanwhile, I was asking everyone around if they need a website, a landing page, a banner, anything, like any idea for the project that I could use later in my portfolio and state in my CV. I even went to my dentist and said, look, it's 2016 and people still have to call you to make an appointment. Let's make you a website. I was talking to people on birthdays, on weddings, asking everyone if they need some help from me or they know someone who needs help from me, because I can build anything, which was obviously not true, but you know, fake it till you make it. And this is how I met a guy who had his own company, publishing company, creating books for Danish kids, for schools, and he needed someone to help him to create a platform where Danish kids could learn English language. At that time he had already a freelancer who was doing some backend job, and he needed someone to help him with the front end. By the way, during all this time working at this company, like 2 or 3 years, I have never spoken to that backend guy, ever. In short, I had to create a website with the rules that were already stated in the book, and additionally I had to develop some interactive tests where kids could take this test and collect points and see how they learn the rules. At that point, I could only do HTML, CSS, and some very basic vanilla JavaScript. And the task required much more than that. After 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, I realized that even if I study for 14 hours, I still can't deliver my task before the deadline. It was like 2016 and I wasn't a part of any coding community. I had like 0 friends related to coding and programming. So I started thinking who I know before, who I met before in my life, who can kind of help me to speed up my learning process. And I remember that back in 2010 I was living with a girl in a dormitory while I was studying mathematics, and she had a boyfriend who was really into like programming and computers. So I found him on Facebook and I wrote to him, can you please help me because I'm kind of like stuck. And he said that he is a system administrator and he has no idea what's going on. He can't help me, but he has a friend who is also a self-taught developer, but previously he was working with finance, but he switched into programming and maybe he can help me. He gave me his Facebook and I wrote to him like, yo, what's up? Can you please help me? And that guy basically saved my ass, because if it wasn't me, maybe I would give up on this idea to be a programmer, and I thought that it wasn't for me, but he was extremely helpful. He was explaining to me basic concepts and he was giving me code reviews, which was very helpful. The funny part about all this collaboration with this guy is that he never took anything from me in return. I, like, million times I offered him some money, or I asked him how can I pay you back for all your help. And he said that once when he was switching from finance to coding, he had a friend who helped him, and now he feels obliged that he needs to help at least one person with the same. And this is how I learned how to code. Obviously it wasn't great at the beginning and the code was horrible. I didn't use any concept of clean code, I didn't use any design patterns and so on, but that was the start, and I could do some stuff and I was getting paid for it. So officially it was a part-time job, but I was spending all my free time, like 14-16 hours per day, on learning how to code, and it was a part of the job. And I was getting paid approximately $1,400 per month to my company, and from the company I was paying to myself like $680 every month. The rest was staying in the company. It's funny because eventually that company went bankrupt and all the money that I earned from my first programming job stayed in the company. But that's a story for another video. Do I think I was underpaid or overpaid? Well, I was extremely happy to get any money for this kind of job, because I really believe that at the beginning I have to work for free. As many developers, when they start, they work for free to gain some experience, to build portfolio. So I think the payment was quite fair, and I am like really grateful for that. I'm pretty sure that if I had my first programming job in some big corporation, big or mid-sized company, where all the new developers with the zero experience get a guy who helps them and guides them, then my experience with my first job would be less painful. I would have few sleepless nights, I wouldn't get so much stressed and burnt out, because that's where I ended up after a year of my coding journey. But on the other hand, I think I got pretty lucky to get a first job after only 4 months of learning how to code by myself, because I have no idea how long time it would take me to get into corporation like mid or big size company, and I don't know if I would ever get there, right? So I wouldn't change anything there, regardless all the experience, painful experience that I had. I am pretty happy with how it went. I hope you find this video useful. Please share your stories about your first job in the comments below. Also, if you have any kind of questions, I will be happy and excited to answer them. And I will see you in the next one.